Lexus would like us to believe that they are serious about making sports cars. They've got a $375,000 supercar now, a new sub-supercar concept, and this. It's the 2014 IS350 F Sport, and it looks different, to say the least. But because we know that they want to be serious about sports cars, we have brought the IS to a serious road here in the mountains of California. And because I'm so serious about how serious they are, we're going to do some serious driving. And I'm going to do it all in one take. Matt Farah, Smoking Tire. The first thing you must do when driving this car in a spirited fashion is turn off the traction control, because as I learned on the way up here, it really sucks the life out of the car. So now that it's all the way off, stability is off, we can hit the road. Let's go manual. You're going to want to use the paddles because the shifter lever is backwards. The new interior is really, really good. It's a little busy, but at least they've, designed something. The last interior was kind of bland, a lot of open space on the dashboard. Not so here. There's kind of a lot going on. Big clear screen up there, cup holders, it's got the mouse, and it's got real buttons for the stuff you're going to use the most often, like the climate control, knobs for the radio. But my favorite part of the new interior are the new seats. They are, it feels like having a seat that's just tailored for you. The leather's really nice and taut. The old seats were chunky and had too much bolstering but not enough shoulder support. This has a really nice balance between bolstering at the bottom, side bolstering, lumbar, and shoulder support. And the headrest, it's like perfect for driving. Like you're not sleeping in the car, you're driving, and I can actually rest my head and drive. Furthermore, the seats themselves are thinner, so you can fit taller people in the back. You can actually fit a 6'2" person in the back of the IS. Under the hood, you've got 305 horsepower, 277 pound-feet of torque, V6. V6 is my least favorite engine configuration. It's not that there's something wrong with it per se, it's not really a sporting engine. Now it's tuned nicely, it's got this intake plumbing that goes into the cabin to give you a little of that ISF sound, there it is, that low bass you get when you put your foot in it. And it makes decent power, just not a particularly inspiring engine the way BMW's N55 is, or even their 328. Or a forced induction motor. I'd like to see a couple turbos on this thing, but probably too much to ask. Power goes to an 8-speed automatic that does rev match downshifts. Great road. There we go. Shifts pretty quick. Not as quick as a dual clutch, but more than acceptable for sporty driving. Rear wheel drive, of course. And with the F Sport package, that's all kept under control with the adjustable suspension, normal, sport, sport plus. Oh, I'm in normal right now. How about I go to sport plus? When you go to sport plus, the gauge changes color. It's really cool. Yes. Good brakes. Like the brakes. Now, the reason I made a big deal about traction control is because it's really invasive in this car when you leave it on. It doesn't let you power out of corners properly. It doesn't let you throw the car into the corner properly. And when you turn it off, what you're left with is a very competent, very communicative chassis that will let you have fun, let you play with it. But even with everything turned off, it still doesn't really feel like you're going to get in trouble with it. It's just enough performance to have a good time without ever feeling overwhelming. There's definitely the right amount of engine and power for the chassis, and you can drive it pretty close to the limit without really having to worry about getting in trouble, even on a ridiculously tight technical road like this. Sporty. I really like what Lexus has done in terms of dialing in the chassis and the suspension before throwing a ton of power at it. Of course, there's going to be a new ISF. Hopefully they leave the V8, and that'll have a bunch of power, but get the suspension dialed in first, and you're in good shape once you've got that power, and you don't end up with an early 2000s AMG car. The one thing really holding the car back are probably the tires. They're these Bridgestones, and I don't honestly love them. I think with a nice sticky set of Pilot Sports, you'd be doing real well. Yes. It doesn't feel fast. 0 to 60 is about 5 and change. I don't know what the top end is. I'm guessing it's around 150 something. And it'll get there, and it's got enough power. The torque comes on all right, but it's not, you know, oh my God, this car's fast, nor should it be. That's what the ISF is for. The car's lower and wider than before, so it feels a little more stable, a little more chuckable, a little more willing to pull higher G's in the corners. Really easy to balance with the throttle. You do get some understeer if you try and turn the wheel under braking, but it actually can be dialed out with steering, lift off, rotating, or just liberal application of power. The gauges are probably the car's only real wow, gimmicky, but awesome feature. They remind me of the LFA, and they're supposed to. It's a digital tach and a digital gauge with an analog bezel around it that if you press this button on the steering wheel, it shifts the entire thing over and reveals a screen on the left side that will show your nav or your settings or your trip computer, fuel economy, whatever. And then you just hit it again, slides the tach right back to the center, and you get your 4 basic gauges in the middle. Let's just listen to the engine for a second, huh? Look at that! Yes! I hit red line and it didn't shift up. Oh, you are brilliant. Yes, that's how it's done. The harder you push it, it's like the GS F Sport. The harder you push it, the more fun it gets. But it really is a true kind of dual purpose car because I've been driving it around for a couple days and it makes a great daily driver. You know, so many times when people try and go sporty, they make the suspensions too stiff and they just beat you up, like Mini. So stiff. This car, not so much. I mean, even I'm in Sport Plus mode right now with the adjustable suspension, and I'm not, it's very comfortable in here. It's not beating me up. The real question is, how are they going to price it? Because this is the pre-production car. The car's not out yet. This is the 186th car built, all by hand. So we don't actually know what it's going to cost yet. The last IS350 F Sport we saw was $48,000. It would be really nice if they kept this under 50. If they kept this under 50, and I'm thinking BMW 328 or this, I'm going to go with this every time. As a matter of fact, I think I'd rather have this than an Audi A4 as well. Certainly from a performance standpoint, this thing would wipe the floor with an A4. It feels almost as fast as the S4, quite frankly. It's missing a little something. I mean, the word soul comes to mind, but it has a soul. It's missing, I think it's an exhaust note. That's because I'm getting engine, I'm getting intake, I've got handling. The steering feel, I'll give about a 7.5. The chassis communicates more with me than the steering itself does. Granted, this is a fun car. I am having a good time right now. But if Lexus wanted something to work on going forward, I would say a louder exhaust note, optional from the factory, an F Sport exhaust maybe, and a little bit more in the steering feel department, and you would have just an unbelievable package. Because right now, this is very, very good. But I think with a couple little tweaks, it could be amazing. Some people work hard, others play hard. At The Smoking Tire, we like to do both. That's why me and the whole crew wear Dylan Optics sunglasses. This technology helps us go home with our eyes not on fire. And really, who doesn't want their eyes to not be on fire? So if you go to the link on our website and buy a pair of Dylan Optics sunglasses, I will send you a free Smoking Tire t-shirt.